There are many reasons why Eleanor Roosevelt was an exemplary citizen to the United States. During the time of the Great Depression, she became a symbol of hope and resilience in a time of desperation through her role as a political figure before and after the economic disaster. In a time when the concept of minorities was just recently becoming a rising issue, Roosevelt was supporting the cause of the common people. She was known for her many endeavors to support minorities of all kinds. She assisted the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in the 1930s to stop job discrimination in the military and defense industries. She was a member in many activist organizations like the Women's Union Trades League and the League of Women Workers, which both fought to form labor unions for women working in unsafe sweatshops. During World War I, she volunteered with the American Red Cross and various naval hospitals to contribute to our nation's efforts. She championed for the rights of the poor and young people by acting as a volunteer teacher for impoverished immigrant children at Manhattan's Rivington Street Settlement House and by joining the National Consumers League, which helped to end unsafe working conditions in factories. Eleanor was born in 1884 on October the 11th. In her early life, Eleanor had a troubled family. Her father was an alcoholic, and her parents' marriage was full of conflict. Her mother died of a bacterial disease in 1892 when Eleanor was only 8 years old, and her father died nearly 2 years later of alcoholism. Roosevelt and her two younger brothers, Elliot and Gracie, then went to live with their grandmother, Mary Ludlow Hall, in Manhattan. Eleanor was an awkward and serious child. She was schooled by private tutors until she was 15 years old. Then she attended an all-girls school in England called Allenswood Wood Academy. She was strongly influenced by her headmistress, Marie Souvestre, who encouraged social responsibility and independence in young women. After her formal education ended at age 18, Roosevelt returned to New York City to make her social debut. 3 years after her move to New York, Eleanor married Franklin Delano Roosevelt of Hyde Park. After her marriage, Eleanor became the First Lady of the United States in 1932 alongside FDR. Like that of her parents, her marriage was complex. Eleanor and Franklin found it hard to connect on a personal level. Eleanor even discovered that her husband was having an affair with her social secretary. Even so, they are widely known as one of the most successful political couples in history. Eleanor knew that many things were handed to her based on the position that her husband held. In her response to being appointed a position in the United Nations, she said, "I know this position has come to me largely because my husband laid the foundation for this organization, through which we all hope to build world peace." She acknowledged that her relationship with FDR gave her certain privileges, but she fought to prove herself as more than just her husband's wife, and in that she was successful. Roosevelt considered her actions through the United Nations as her biggest achievement. Her overall goal in her career and life was to accomplish a state that was closer to world peace. Roosevelt had a daily column called My Day, in which she stated her opinions on many social and political issues of the time. In these excerpts, Roosevelt discusses being included in the United Nations organization. "Some things I can take to this first meeting, a sincere desire to understand the problems of the rest of the world and our relationship to them, and a real goodwill for all peoples throughout the world. Every one of us cares more for his own country than for any other. That is human nature. We love the bit of land where we have grown to maturity and know the joys and sorrows of life. The time has come, however, when we must recognize that our mutual devotion to our land must never blind us to the good of all lands and of all peoples. That which injures any one of us injures all of us. Only by remembering this will we finally have a chance to build a lasting peace." Roosevelt also used her power in the United Nations to fight for human rights across the world. This clip is from a video in which she addresses the general population of the United States on Human Rights Day and recognizes the Declaration of Human Rights, which she helped to write while in the United Nations.
Have fostered the observance of this day not only in the United States but throughout the world. The object is to make people everywhere conscious of the importance of human rights and freedoms. And the Declaration was written to elaborate the rights already mentioned in the Charter, and to emphasize also for all of us the fact that the building of human rights would be one of the foundation stones on which we would build in the world an atmosphere in which peace could grow. We try to particularly have people study the Declaration so that they will really understand what were considered to be the most essential rights for all people to have throughout the world. The real change which must give to people throughout the world their human rights must come about in the hearts of people. We must want our fellow human beings to have rights and freedoms which give them dignity. If we observe these rights for ourselves and for others, I think we will find that it is easier in the world to build peace, because war destroys all human rights and freedoms.
Eleanor Roosevelt died of tuberculosis in 1962. She contributed much to the world and to many societies. She used mutual respect as a guiding theme in her life and supported positive change in the world's journey to social justice. Many have been inspired by her actions and continue to carry on her legacy through their own efforts in working towards world peace.